great to chat with you about The Woman King. What a film. I know that my Awards Daily colleague Joey Moser called it a beast of a film, and I'm like, that's
Oh,
pretty
wow.
accurate.
Okay.
Yeah, and the music's so wonderful too. So yeah, what was the composing process like for The Woman King, and what kind of mood did you want to create?
Well, I think the process was just really trying to enhance, not enhance. I shouldn't say that. It was really trying to follow what was already shot on the screen. One of the things that I told Gina, I said, you did an incredible job because everything is there. Only thing I need to do is just be with the performances. So having said that, the thing that I wanted to do was to make the film seem like it's universal by still having elements of the culture in it, you know. So the melodic structure and the harmonic structure of the compositions, I kind of took from some music that I loved, in Africa. I love this group called Ladysmith Black Mambaza. And I love how they use this tight kind of harmony that follows the melodic line, and that's what I tried to do with this. And then also going back to what I was saying earlier, trying to utilize it in such a way like Stravinsky did for Hungarian folk music. Even though he's writing for orchestra, the basis of my thumb is in front of the thing. The basis of what he's writing comes from Hungarian folklore, but he's orchestrating it for full orchestra. So that's what I wanted to do with this film. Same exact type of thing.
Wow. So you kind of touched on this briefly, but did you do any research about like what kind of music these warriors might have been singing? Like, did they have tribal chants and things like that?
They did, and they brought in Lebowem to do a couple of those, and I finished a third one. Um, so that part of it was fun, but I didn't really have to do much research because I've been fascinated with that music all my life. So,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
awesome.
as a matter of fact, I had a guitarist in my band who's one of my students, who's now playing in Herbie Hancock's band.
Oh my God.
Yeah, his name is Lionel Loweke, and Lionel is from Benin, which is that area, and which is actually where the homie was. And when he was in the band, we'd always talk about that music from his hometown. And as a matter of fact, he has a cool little app, and I keep forgetting the name of the app because I want to promote it. But he has an app that's filled with rhythms and melodic content from that region.
Wow.
So I utilize some of that stuff to kind of create some of the rhythmic pulses for the films.
That's great. The score has such a mix of a classic big epic feel, but with some modern elements. It sounds has like a fresh sound. What kind of instrumentation did you use to give it that fresh sound?
Well, it's a combination of a bunch of things. So, we have full orchestra, then we have some African instruments, kodo, kalimba, and obviously percussion, all various percussion, and some flutes. And then I use, my sound design techniques, for some other things to create certain type of atmospheric or ominous kind of textures to be mixed in with all of those. One of the things that I've learned is never try to get one to mimic the other. Just use them all for their strengths and not their weaknesses.
That's great. The voices really add something to the score too. What was it like working with like singers and adding that to the score?
Well, these singers are amazing. I worked with them before on my opera when it went to the Met. Actually, some of them when we did the production in St. Louis, and the others when it went to the Met. And I knew their capabilities, and so I didn't have any reservations about what to write for them because I knew that they can come in and look at it and sing it just like that. So I was excited about that. The funny part was, you know, trying to get Gina on board, I had to give her these demos, and the demos those synth voices sound awful. You know what I mean? So, she kept going, I don't know about that. I'm like, trust me, it's not going to sound like that. It's not going to sound like that. And, but she trusted me. We got to the studio. But the main thing was, man, was to bring my friend in. She's like my sister, man. Diane Reeves. Diane, I knew without a shadow of a doubt this was the perfect thing for her because I've known her for years. I know the type of music that she's always been into, and I knew once she saw this, she would just knock it out the ballpark. And that's exactly what she did, man. I remember, I think one of the first scenes we did with her, the other vocalist, the operatic vocalist, had come in the control room. And as soon as Diane started to sing, they all fell out, man, and screamed, to the point where the engineer had to be like, I need to listen to, to her do this track. Can y'all be quiet?
That's pretty funny.
Oh, man. No, yeah, but she was perfect. I mean, she got it. Some of the scenes were emotional for her based on things that she had gone through in her life.
Wow.
And it was just it was just one of those moments that was just a powerful moment in time working on a project. It's like a once in a lifetime type thing. And I just feel I just remember feeling very blessed, about working on it. And then all of the people who worked on it kept coming up to me saying thank you, because we all had the same type of feeling about the importance of this film. Not only the importance of it, but the brilliance that's displayed in those performances. The way it's
Yeah.
cut together, the way Terry cut it together, the way it looks, just like everything. I've been telling people this is one of those films, I want to show my grandchildren, and have them sit down and watch it and be proud, about their own heritage.
That's great. Were there any particular scenes that you had to give more attention to with the score? Like maybe even more emotional scenes that were tough?
There weren't scenes that were tough in terms of scoring it. There were scenes that were tough emotionally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the garden scene when she says, "You're not the thing that hurt me." You know, um, I think the thing about scenes like that is that you want the music, you want the music to be there, and you want the music to have slight little shifts when the emotion shifts. You don't want it to go over the top. Um, and so that was a concern of mine. Is not to overplay my hand with that scene, because Viola's performance and Tuso's performance in that scene was just amazing. You
Yeah.
know, when Tuso gets up and she walks away, and like she can't handle it, man, that was a powerful moment for me. So that scene and the other scene where she says, "Mother, will you dance with me?" were the two pivotal moments in the film for me. And the thing that I told Gina was, for me, writing the music was all about trying to set up those two moments.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because at the front, you can't give Viola's character any type of sensitivity because she's a stern
Yeah.
military leader. You know what I mean? And she has to have that at the beginning of the film and throughout the film, so that when she gets to that garden part, we all feel, the level of emotional pull for her to look at this daughter that she had given up, you know,
Yeah.
and admit to her that she's not the thing that hurt her, you know.
Yeah. I talked to the sound editors of The Woman King, and we talked about the difference in the sounds of like royalty, like John Boyega's character, versus the Warriors. And I was wondering, like, if there are differences in like, I'm sure there probably are this in the score, like the music for John Boyega versus the Warriors, and like what you kind of did to establish that and establish these characters.
But a lot of it is just in the orchestration, in terms of how and I can't remember. It's been a while. I'm watching a film later on tonight, so I know it'll come back to me. But from what my memory brings back, a lot of it is in how I handled brass and woodwinds and stuff between the two characters. Because with John Boyega's character, um, he is the king, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we have to pay homage and respect to that. And the trick for Viola's character is to be strong, but not overly masculine. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And so some of that I may use brass for both things, but some of it comes down to dynamics and phrasing. Like when you have brass that play full out, they have like a very bright, shrill kind of sound. And the same instruments played at pianissimo can have a more rounder tone, but still strong and weighty kind of sound to it.
That's fascinating. Well, those were all my questions. Thank you so much for your time and the beautiful score for The Woman King. Congratulations on everything.